I think it's exciting to start showing folks who are using the platform and Pelcro clients things firsthand from the product team.
Yeah, and I think it came at a right time as well. This release was a big release, and we have a few features that we can showcase as well.
But let's start with, what are you guys excited about that we worked on, for this release?
The new improvements to the list builder, the campaign builder, and we've got also a couple of enhancements for the memberships. What about you, Abdullah?
So from my side, we restructured the way we work with paywalls. Now we allow for ultimate flexibility. Whatever your mind imagines, we can implement with the Pelcro paywalls. It's very customizable, so that's one thing that we'll be showcasing here. We added some new accounting reports. We added some improvements to our integrations, and we also um, worked on some of our APIs, and especially related to memberships. So that would be a great addition as well.
So why don't we start with, let's jump into it. I don't know, Shri, if you want to start maybe with some of the list builder features. I was also personally like surprised when I saw a lot of the what we've done there.
Yep, sure. So, as you can see on the screen here, if you go right now to the list builder section, which many of you would be familiar with, you'd see that we've had immediate changes that are apparent on your screen here. So we're introducing new types of lists called the campaign lists, which we're going to expand upon in a few seconds, as well as a lot of enhancements that will cater to your audience segmentation. So we understand that customer segmentation is an important process to help you market and sell more effectively. And let's go ahead and go with the process of creating a list that was previously used for fulfillments. As you can see here on the screen, you would see major enhancements to the overall user experience of the list builder. So you can choose the type here of the list that you're creating. So this is the fulfillment list, which you're familiar with, and then the campaign list, which combines with our newest introduction to the Pelcro ecosystem, which is the campaign builder. You can give any list of them the typical name and the description that describes the purpose of each list. And then we have divided the segmentation filters that were used to segment out your audience into specific categories. So you've got your location segments, which target geographical data. So from here, you can include or exclude any countries of your choice. Same goes to state and city. You've got your product segments, which help you segment your audience more on offerings. So your products and plans, entitlements. So from here, you can, for example, include one product to target subscribers of the product Genix product. You can go granular for plans. You can, let's say, include all plans on the product Genix except this particular plan. You can also segment by plan amount. So you can do, like, let's say you want to get all subscribers who are subscribe to all their plans between $0 and $30. So that should cater to a wider array of plans. You can do the same for entitlements and plan intervals as well.
Like, we heard a lot of feedback about like the include, exclude, and I think also the in between option, gives a lot of flexibility. I know I was when I was, once using a tool, I really appreciated that, and I know a lot of the clients. This obviously makes it a lot easier, right? Like to find what they're looking for.
Definitely, it's a major improvement to how the lists were being built, and it gives more clarity to clients who are using this on a daily basis for operations. one great introduction that comes with the campaign type list is the notion of having exact and relative dates. So right now, instead of having to select a specific date or a date range that the list can segment throughout, you can choose relative dates, and this will give you flexibility to reuse the list again on a scheduled basis. So you can specify, like, to target subscribers who are going to start their subscriptions between specific number of days rather than an absolute date range. Uh, Same goes for expiry and current period end. So the selection here becomes more dynamic, and then you can, it helps to work on the campaign builder, which we'll discuss next.
And
So on the,
this basically helps in automations and stuff like that, right?
yeah, precisely, and scheduling things and minimizing the efforts for operations team to create lists again and again.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's one of the major improvements that we've made to our lists builder. And here you can see them segmented out. So here are a few examples that I've created. So this list would target customers who are about to churn, or like customers who are subscribed to specific products, or even all your subscribers if you want to
Hmm.
send out like a fulfillment or a campaign to all of your subscribers. It's the campaign builder is basically the Pelcro's take on how to create and automate some of your marketing messaging based on the segmentation that you just built with the list builder. So typical use cases of the campaign builder can be for example, if you're doing any new product launches, if you want to create like some rebranding awareness, uh, track effectiveness of some of your social media sign up links, or even tracking like external marketing campaign efforts that are in third party platforms, but to keep Pelcro as your one source of truth for all of these marketing elements. So this is easily accessible from the platform here when you go to campaign builder. uh, so this new section here would behave similar to the function of fulfillments, but on the campaign side. So both the fulfillments and the campaign section would tie in with the list builder. What you do here is you go to new. Let's go through a use case, for example, where you're doing a product launch, right? So you're launching, you just created a new product and you want to send out mass messaging to all of your subscribers that this product just launched. So what you do here, you can say, give that a name. Uh, so this is your product launch campaign. It would be of the type a promotional campaign. You'd have two types here: promotion and renewal.
So
You can
what's the
check.
difference between promotional and renewal here? How does
Sure.
that impact the next steps?
Yeah, so the promotional campaigns are targeted for like most general purpose marketing use cases. Can be used to promote a specific plan or a coupon code to your audience. This can either be done through webhook notifications, or if you're doing some offline marketing, you can get an export of all of your segments and send it to your direct mail vendor to do these efforts offline. The renewal campaigns, on the other hand, are mostly targeted for retention marketing and
Hmm.
step up pricing. So this is the beta version of it, where you can export a list of subscribers you would like to renew on a new plan, and either send it to your operations team or even Pelcro to renew specific subscriptions onto certain plans. Uh, and you
Got it.
can naturally you can check out more details on that on our documentation, which describes them in more details. So for the use case right now that we're doing, we're just going to do a typical product launch promotional plan. You give it a description here, and then from here you can choose the list. For our use cases, we're targeting all of our subscribers. So this is the
So
list
that
that we
was
built.
the list that you
We just
obviously
built.
pre-configure. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. And then the campaign key, which is a key that is tied to each campaign, that identifies what the campaign effort is, and it can help you track and monitor each specific campaign on its own. So we can
And
give
that's
it
equivalent to, some of the other terminology we heard of this was like promo key, or was there
promo
something
key,
else?
promo code.
Okay.
Each business can identify it by their own terminology, but ultimately they're the same thing. And
Mhm.
they would behave in the similar fashion to a UTM tag, like the same function of a
Yeah.
UTM tag with the campaigns. So you
It's
can
used
give
for
it like
tracking, probably,
exactly,
like mostly, right? Yeah.
exactly. You can give it one of the existing ones that you create on your system, or you can create a new key. Also, we have the auto generate function to which caters to schedule type campaigns that you can give it a prefix here. Let's say launch, and then if this is a scheduled campaign, it will amend a unique character at the end of the campaign key, so that it guarantees uniqueness to each campaign run, and you can track your campaigns more effectively.
Okay.
For a product launch, typically this would be like a one-time thing. So let's give it like just campaign key here. This is the plan that you're launching. So let's say you just launched new accounting services for your audience. So you give that here. And let's say you want to give them a coupon code for new signups. You put the coupon code here. And then the action is the most important piece. So notification would tie in with, let's say, your email service provider or your marketing platform to send out individual notifications to your customers. Export would be an export that gets sent to you, and then you can send it to direct mail vendor, for example, or like other operational teams that can get the list and communicate with them more individually.
So the recipients is coming from where? Is this the list? It's a list of collaborators, right?
Yes. So if you're sending the export here, you can specify the collaborators that you want to send the export to, and then the export destination is email. And then all you need
Yeah.
to do is save. And that's pretty much it. Naturally, there are a lot more details I would like to share on this, but don't forget to check out our docs, which we'll share at the end of the video or through our changelog. And finally, two of the features that cater to user experience is one, the list headers. So right now, when you go to either your subscription screen or your customer screen, you'll find a new gear icon here that you can use to customize, like show or hide any of the columns that you particularly use on day-to-day operations with Pelcro. And this just keeps your view clean, and instead of having to do all of this through an export, now you can do it directly through the platform. And don't worry about messing up the view for any other collaborator, because this is preserved only to you. So that should be very helpful to people who use Pelcro on a daily basis. As you can see here, this is an example of how it works on subscriptions. And you would find it also on customers as well, where you can choose all the columns that you can use. Even if you log in and log out, this view would be preserved for you, so don't worry about that. And we've also cascaded our newly introduced sorting and filtering to our memberships module. So if you go to memberships now, you'll see that you can specify like all the search criteria that you can search with, as well as the search term, and then all the new filters that were added to customers and subscriptions. You can find them here. So you can filter by plan, or you can filter by status, even the membership creation date or expiry date. And then the export would take into account just the filtered results when you're sending them to an expert.
So first things first, we navigate to the product section over here. And the goal here is to be able to set up multiple paywalls and make sure that each paywall is very customized to a specific user segment, and it targets a specific set of users without a clash, let's say, between the two paywalls. So over here, for each product, we can set up multiple paywalls. As you can see here, we can view the paywalls. So let's take this product, for example, view the paywalls. So I already have one paywall set up over here. It's a very basic paywall. It doesn't do much. It's just for messaging. However, I want to add a new paywall that targets a specific set of customers. So if I click on add paywall, as you can see here, we can go through the entire configuration. And let's say I want to target anyone, any user who is authenticated. And I don't want to target anyone who's anonymous. So as you can see here, we can target everyone. And we introduced 4 new fields to this section. So we have the exclude URL pattern, the target URL pattern, type of paywall, which can be a modal or an inline or a ribbon. And then we have the custom JavaScript. So what the custom JavaScript allows us to do is to be very flexible and customizable with any sort of user segment that we want to target for those paywalls. So for example, the case that I mentioned before, we want to target any user that is authenticated. So very simply, it might need some JavaScript knowledge, but any developer can set it up very quickly. And even if they're not developers as well, it's very straightforward. So window.pelcro.user is authenticated.
Oh, that's interesting. You're just calling the function right away. Okay, I didn't think
Exactly.
of that. Okay.
Exactly. So this acts like a function. You can even do some logic before it, where A equals 1 and B equals 2, and then you can return um, whatever
Or like
you
you can
want.
do like if statements, kind of, right? Like if the user is coming from like Facebook, do this. If the user is coming from Google, check a different function.
Exactly. So in this case, if a user is authenticated, that's the type of user that we want to target. So
I mean, this really gives the ultimate flexibility, right? Like, as long as they can do it in JavaScript, it can be configured here.
yeah,
And so much
exactly.
scalability as well with like targeting more.
Hmm.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
One more thing that we can add as well is usually your end users would come from either a certain site or from after clicking on an ad or whatever it is that they come wherever it is that they come from. So what we could do here is target a specific URL pattern. So if I detect in the URL that they came from UTM campaign equal launch 2022, if this is in their URL,
Mm.
then that user will be targeted as well. And we can do the opposite, where we can exclude anyone that came from launch 2021, for example.
I remember a good use case of the exclude was, we were working with a lot of clients that didn't necessarily want to show the paywall when the user was in the Facebook app.
Yes,
Just because they were driving a lot of traffic from there, and so they just wanted the Facebook users, for example, when they're on the Facebook app, to just like, um, you know, they wanted to exclude the paywall. But I
yes,
can imagine a lot of use cases there. Maybe like it's a specific URL. Maybe in email campaigns they would add like a trigger that then disables the paywall. I can see a lot of use cases there.
yeah, exactly. So then if we want to complete the setup of this paywall, we can go through that super quickly. I want to provide anyone that's targeted as part of the paywall with 2 free articles, and this count renews every 7 days. Let me just fill in here. We can add titles and subtitles to all of the different user journeys that your users will go through. So if they hit registration, they can see this title over here.
And what's this metadata? It seems like a new field, right?
Yes. So this metadata field was actually added to all of the um, tabs that you can see here. And what you can do with it is contributing to the customizability as well. So we can add any information as part of this JSON object. and it can be reflected on your website. So, for example, currently in the registration title and subtitle, you don't have the flexibility to add the label on your button. So some of our users might want the button to be registered,
Okay. So
and
it's
some
just
others
giving more kind of flexibility or more options on what can, like on the copy, the labels, all that stuff.
exactly, exactly. And it's really flexible over here. You can decide on what you want and just simply link that on the UI.
Okay, that's interesting.
And then we go through the payments to start your subscription. And this is a success. Welcome to the platform. And finally, we confirm. So as soon as this paywall has been set up, if I click on view paywalls over here, you can see that I have two paywalls. This is the one that we set up, and this is one that existed previously. Of course, we can delete paywalls, we can edit them, change the targeting slightly. So overall, we got to see a bunch of new features, the multiple paywalls, the custom JavaScript, and the other fields related to the URL patterns, as well as the metadata.
Let's talk about actually the entitlements for a second. I know we added something new in there.
Yes. So for the entitlements, so previously we had entitlements only on the plan level, and now we introduced entitlements on the product level as a whole. So just to be more clear, so over here we have our products, and then if I click on view plans, we have multiple plans. Previously, we were only able to add entitlements on each plan. So if I edit a pricing plan, I can add the entitlement there. But sometimes, as you can see here, if I have a lot of plans, then it's just going to be tedious to configure the entitlements for each and every one of them. So what we can do now is simply edit the entitlements for a product. As you can see here, there's a test entitlement, and we can update it here. We can add more entitlements and update this product. Next, what I want to do is quickly share documentation over the latest APIs that we introduced for our memberships, and I'll explain why they're useful as well. So let me share my screen.
I mean, maybe we can also just explain the membership while we're at it. I mean, just while you're putting it up, I'll have a stab at that. So the membership, the idea behind the membership is that, let's say if there was an organization that subscribes to a service. I'll take actually our project management tool, Asana. So let's say I'm the billing owner in Asana and I want to invite you into Asana. I invite you as members into Asana, and when I do that, you get access, but you're under my subscription, right? So we kind of implemented that solution out of the box for our clients, which I believe is super helpful, because then it's, if my subscription as the billing owner expires, then so does yours, right? Like you lose access, and it's managed with the number of seats set on the plan, etc. I know this was an important feature to a lot of our clients.
And it's actually, for those of you who are familiar with our group subscriptions feature, this is like sort of the next step of the direction to move ultimately to
Yeah,
memberships.
because it was difficult to manage the way we set up initially the group subscriptions, right? Because the expiry dates weren't, in the example where I invited you into Asana, you had a different expiry date than mine, right? But over here in this new structure, again, I'm the owner, I'm the billing owner, it's my credit card, you're just part of my subscription, you're taking a seat of my subscription. So it's really a lot easier to sell group subscriptions, or whatever you may call it. Some people call it site licenses, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So as you can see here in the documentation, we introduced a bunch of new endpoints to our APIs. So I'll start off with the invite members. So as Michael said, let's say he's the billing owner and he would like to invite. So he has a subscription uh, with you, our client, and he wants to introduce um, some members of his organization to that subscription. So with this very simple API call, we can simply include the invitation emails. So I can add Sharif at pelcro.com and Abdullah at pelcro.com. And both of us would receive access
Mm-hmm.
once we activate this membership to Michael's subscription as the billing owner. And then, of course, we can list the members. So Michael can then see which emails or which users are under his current subscription. And then we can also remove a member from a specific subscription. So
And this is an API, right? Like, just for context here, is this is an API for the developer, using the tool in order to create the UI, right? Like, and we created the UI ourselves using these APIs, but so can external developers or our clients, etc.
So yeah, under our accounting module, we added two new exports: the export deferred revenue and export accounts receivable, where you can see each invoice and how it's being calculated along with the sum as well. Um,
I mean, for the accounts receivable exports, it's I think it's straightforward. But for the deferred revenue one, we are also displaying how we arrived at the remaining, um, whether it's by time or shipments. We are exporting these values just to show to the user of the file, how we arrived at these numbers, right?
exactly, yes. And the calculations more specifically will also be included in the documentation.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's super helpful because, I think the more we show how we arrived, at these calculations, the better. Um, and just to wrap it up here, so I know we also added, some events to MailChimp. So it was the members event, right? Like, so when a member is created or got it.
Or
So yeah,
activated.
again, or activated. Okay. Yeah. So emails can be sent based on that. So that's going to be a super helpful feature, giving the user more control of his account, like, suspending shipments. And, we've been really focusing on that. We even got to, allowing the user to upload a profile picture, right? Which I feel like is very helpful. We also have the merch tags on MailChimp. We released that. I think we added just a bunch of new subscription merch tags.
Yes.
So I think also some of the clients will be happy about that. Uh, all right. So I think we covered most of the, some of the most important things, we worked on. Um, so I think we can leave it at that. We're on the 30-minute mark. I hope everyone finds this helpful, and yeah, we'll keep doing it.
And final thoughts, just keep an eye out for new videos on our YouTube channel, including any tutorial videos that are presented for the features that we're just introducing. Don't forget again to check out our changelog, and feel free to also check out our new product roadmap, which is available on our changelog, where you can submit ideas or vote on ideas that are currently in the pipeline. And we're excited.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye bye.